All right, Stephen Key here, and I have a very special guest that's licensing ideas. We met many, many years ago. Sef Chang, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Stephen.
Now, we met years ago, I believe, when you were going to school,
hmm
at design school. You're one of those professional designers. I mean, you got the talent, so you went to a great school. That was, what was that? That was the Arts Center in Pasadena?
Yeah, Art Center College of Design.
Yeah, that's a very impressive school with really smart people. So I think that's where we first met. And you started, if correct me if I'm wrong, your specialty is two things. Number one, being a copywriter, correct?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot more copywriting, just advertising. That's my main what I did focus on. At that time during school, I focused on art direction, and while I got out of school, they were asking me to do a lot more copywriting, and I just somehow ended up doing copywriting for everybody.
Well, how much does that help? Because now you've jumped in, you're doing licensing, you got your own YouTube channel. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But how has the design background and the having the ability to do great copy, how does that help when licensing ideas?
It's not just the design background. I think specifically the having the advertising background made it tremendously helpful. And I think in my own mind, it's given me a huge upper hand on the licensing front. And licensing, I think of it exactly like advertising, except I'm not dealing with clients.
Okay.
I'm the client. We talk about sell sheets, and sell sheets is my world is a print ad. I've
Okay.
done so many print ads, and it's right up my alley.
Okay. Well, we met. You became an InventRight student. We always like to do full disclosure there.
hmm
And you like licensing because you have your own channel now and you're out there helping others. Why does licensing for you? Because you've licensed a very simple idea. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Why does that make you excited?
Well, while I was working in advertising and doing advertising, at the end of the day, we're creating ads for these clients. But what I thought, in my mind, I like to think of advertising as not so much making ads, but designing ideas.
Okay.
And that's what you're doing with licensing. But in the ad world or in the design, with clients in the agency world, who owns that idea? The clients own the idea. And and they have full control of what happens with that idea. And if let's say this ad campaign, you came up with this idea for this brilliant ad campaign, this company makes a lot of money and it's a really successful ad campaign, none of it is shared with the creatives or the agency that created that. And licensing, you have ownership of the intellectual property and idea. I was like, that is the game changer. That's going to make me very different from what I'm
Okay.
doing in ad.
Well,
Owning.
let's talk about one particular industry that you license an idea in. The novelty gift industry. I love that industry. Why? For me, it was a fun industry. People were pretty much friendly to inventors or product developers or designers. And it wasn't an invention, so it wasn't very serious. It just put a smile on people's face. So why did you start there? Or did you start there?
Yeah, I started in the novelty space. I found that products that these novelty companies were coming up with were just really fun, whimsical ideas, and I
Okay.
thought it would be a great way to, just come up with a bunch of random ideas that I thought was also fun and might be a good fit for these companies. And a really big thing that I noticed with all these novelty companies is that most of them accept outside product submissions.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot.
Did they treat you fairly? Are they friendly?
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely a lot of them operate off of product submissions from outside of their doors,
Okay.
and if they have that reputation of being just jerks to people submitting ideas, it's really gonna affect their business.
All right.
So
Yeah,
they want to be nice.
I like those companies. I think they're very, very friendly. So you license an idea. We're going to show that up on the screen. James will find it. Pretty simple idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so simple. I mean, really? Can you do it that? Can it be that simple?
It was so simple that I just took their existing product that they had, made a small change to it. I even used the exact image that they had on their website, took a screenshot of it,
Right.
removed the white background, and then gave it back to them with that small adjustment. They said, "We love it."
It doesn't get any easier than that, I don't think.
I'm always trying to find ways to make it even easier.
Okay.
But yeah, right at the moment when it comes to launching products, that is the easiest way to make your ideas happen.
All right, good for you. And you're collecting royalty checks?
Yes, sir.
Those are always
Just got
fun.
my latest royalty report a few days ago.
Those are always fun, isn't it? Okay. Now, let's talk about your own channel because you're helping others now. You're out there. You know the 10 steps. What's that like? Tell us about your channel.
Yeah, so my channel is called House of Royalties, and it's all about licensing, helping other people license their ideas, and also documenting my own process. Because other than your channel, Invent Right, and mine, I think we are the only two people that are actively putting content and talking about it. And I've been hearing so many stories, horror stories of other inventors and product developers, spending thousands and thousands of dollars and getting completely screwed over by these invention companies. That I'm like, why are you guys doing this? Just go get Stephen Key's book, One Simple Idea. Start there. You could watch Invent Right. You could watch my videos. Just start learning all these things and applying it. Don't invest $10,000 in this invention company. There's no reason to do that. And I just wanted to be part of that conversation. It's like, hey, there's a better way of doing this.
Wonderful. Well, Seth, thank you for coming on and talking a little bit about your experience, and thank you for helping other inventors out there. I completely agree. This information needs to be out there, that you can be smart about this, you can have fun with this, and you don't have to spend a lot of money doing it. And
Exactly.
and there's a lot of, I wouldn't say there's pitfalls, but there's a lot of people out there that will try to sell services you really don't need. So
Yeah.
So, Seth, anything you'd like to tell the audience before you leave? Anything else?
Get started with licensing. I think the startup world always sounds fun and interesting. Everybody wants to brag about, oh, I'm the founder of this company. We've got this much money in investments. And it's like, yeah, that's cool and all, but you have to give that money back. Why not just go and partner up with a company and have them do all the heavy lifting and have them invest their own resources and manpower to make it happen, while you get to continue to just come up with ideas. And I think that's the best part about licensing, is that you are able to continue to come up with more ideas so you can send them to companies, get more licensing deals, have more royalty checks come in, and having more royalty checks will give you hopefully more time and more freedom of what you can do with time, and also financial freedom, and using that time and financial freedom to just come up with more ideas. And I like to think of it as an upward spiral. Just keep on doing the same thing. And licensing is just not only for products. I think it's just a business model in general. So if all of a sudden, let's say you're in the novelty industry, but you really like photography, and you have a bunch of photos sitting in your hard drive or in your camera, you could go and license those photos out. There's Getty Images, stock photo websites. If you're into music, you could do music licensing. If you want to do a book deal, you could go and license your book. And it's a model that people don't really know about, but they've seen it. Every time they update their phones or software agreement, there's terms and agreements, and there's licensing language in there. I'm like, it's there.
You know what I love? You know what I love about you just said? It's huge. Licensing has been around for many, many years. We had someone come on, one of our students came on, and she's licensed over 400 pieces of her artwork that goes on products.
Yes.
Using those basic 10 steps that you and I are both talking about. And it is in all different industries. So licensing is just a great way of being creative, doing the things that you want to do, and let those other companies do all the, like you said, the heavy lifting, do all the stuff that I don't particularly want to do or invest my time or money into. So
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a perfect business model for us creative types.
I agree. Yeah, a lot of people that create, especially having a design and advertising background, going and getting clients, and they're constantly pitching for clients, and clients are constantly leaving agencies, and people are constantly getting laid off because they relied on this agency for to have all the resources and the money to keep them. But at the end of the day, the things that you create and the things that you come up with, you don't own them. The client owns them. Licensing is different, where you create it, but you still own it. And you have full control of what you can do with that intellectual property. And you don't see that, and people don't really talk about that in the design world and creating world. Like, this is for creators, for people that make stuff. And whatever kind of stuff you want to make, you could absolutely license it. Yeah. You could even go to the point of licensing your own name. Like, right behind you, I see Michael Jordan popping out of your shoulder right there from your Michael Jordan wall ball. Michael Jordan licensed his own name out. He's a brand, sure, but his own name.
You know what's crazy about this? We had a student actually license a trademark. They came up with a great name, and that works. So I think you're right. You just have to kind of open your mind to it and find those things that you're really passionate about, and have that perceived ownership with some of the intellectual property tools that are easy to get out there, and knock on the doors. You never know what a company's going to want.
Yeah.
So
well, let's take a quick step back and talk about what the businesses are, what their mindset is. Because I one of my goals with the channel is not only to get more people to end up licensing their ideas, but to also convince and persuade companies to open up their doors and really embrace the licensing model or the open innovation model. And the logic behind that is, well, if there's two companies, they're competing against each other. One company, they're doing everything internal. They're trying to come up with their own ideas with their R&D team or product team, but they could only go so far. And actually, after a certain amount of time, because I was part of this, you get burnt out, and they're just not as inspired or motivated to come up with the next game-changing idea, unless they're getting paid a bunch of money. But even with money, sometimes they don't have that $1 million idea. But this other company, they do the same thing with their R&D team, but at the same time open the doors to have the entire world be their R&D team. Now they are able to pump out products constantly, and just make them a lot more, at the front of the competition every year.
Yeah, people don't realize, I think, reason why this is so popular with companies. Because I've experienced some of the relationships. I've gone out to these companies and I've done some freelance work, and I got to meet these in-house designers. And I can tell you, they're not happy. They're not that creative. They're working for a paycheck. And I looked at them, and they were in their cubicles, and it was like a production line creative factory. And I could tell right away, for people like us, which it will be an income stream, we can put our name attached to it. We can get the recognition that we want, that we're more motivated. We think about it Saturday, Sunday, 7 days a week. We're excited about it, where their in-house designers are not. So some of these smart companies are opening their doors, and they're saying, hey, who's got a great idea out there? And we're flooding in now. The thing that I cannot stress enough, though, anybody's listening, you have to do it the right way. You have to show them good products they have not seen before. So make sure you Google them, and make sure you're sending them something they cannot find within 1 minute, because they're telling me they're finding these ideas so fast. Do your homework, educate your stuff, watch these channels, read the books, do everything you can to get in the game to be a professional. Just don't throw those ideas up against the wall to see if they stick.
Yeah.
I know people get in such a hurry. Don't get in a hurry. Do the right thing, study it, you'll have a blast. All right, Sef, we got to go. Thank you very much, you guys. Watch this channel. We'll have a link down below. Watch InventRight TV. Sef, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Stephen.